Most of you know that I'm not loyal to one camera brand, and I'm definitely not a fanboy. Look, I started my career shooting on Canon cameras, then I switched to Pentax, then back to Canon, and now Sony. And every camera I've ever owned was excellent. Even the Canon R5 that I sold to buy the Sony A7S III was and still is a superb camera. I just didn't like it that much, but that doesn't make it a bad camera. Now, the Sony A7S III? Well, what can I say? I think I'm finally starting to understand fanboys. I'm not becoming one, not at all. Not yet, anyway. But, I mean, it's such a damn good camera. Okay, so, because strangely enough, for some weird reason, you guys keep watching my videos. I mean, okay, thank you. And because I want to thank you, I'm gonna give something back again. Keep watching this video so you don't miss it, and all you Canon M50 shooters, don't worry, I have something for you too. Someone this week, maybe next week, I don't know yet, depends on how busy I am. Okay, but first let's talk about the magnificent, the excellent, the superb, the majestical Sony A7S III. There, I could just stop the video right there actually. Maybe I should, and take a day off. I'm already giving you something back. Isn't that enough? No, no, I want to talk about it. I want to talk about this crazy camera. There's also the Sony FX3, which is pretty much the same camera, except for a few differences. The FX3 doesn't have an electronic viewfinder, for example. But now that I've been using the A7S III for a year, I'm glad that I have that viewfinder, because I'm also a photographer, an old school photographer, you know? I started my career as a photographer, and I prefer using a viewfinder whenever I'm taking photos. So yeah, I do use the Sony A7S III, 12 megapixels for photography, no problem. 90%, 80% of the work that I'm doing right now is YouTube, social media, website, so 12 megapixels is plenty. It really is. For me right now, the Sony A7S III is the perfect hybrid shooter. Now, if I would have all the money in the world, I would probably add an A1 and an FX3. Man, that would be such a badass setup. Fingers crossed. Keep watching my videos so that the money rolls in, yeah? Okay, now do keep in mind that the Sony A7S III is a video-first camera. So if you're a photographer or 75% of your work is photography, then it's not the camera for you. Even though the photos look amazing because of all the dynamic range and the low light capabilities. So, you know, don't underestimate it when it comes to photography. If you're video only, then the FX3 is probably the best choice for you. The build quality of the A7S III is excellent. It's not as good as the Canon R5, for example. Let's say the R5 is a 10 out of 10, then the Sony is a 9.5. But I've been using it literally every day since day one, since the day I bought it, and I mean, it's built like a tank. Mist, rain, dust, no problem at all. Something I didn't like about the Canon R5, and I don't know if it has improved by now, but when I had my Canon R5, the biggest problem I had was that the video files were impossible to work with. I always had to transcode them to ProRes, and it slowed down my workflow. It was so frustrating. And now A7S III files, no problem. I can even edit 4K relatively smoothly on my good old 2018 MacBook Pro base model, so not spec'd out. Except when I'm doing heavy color grading, you know, with masks and a dozen of nodes. But still, if I use some of the tricks to speed up DaVinci, it's still fine. And I'm sure that if you have a more recent computer, maybe one of the new M1 Macs or a Windows machine that's built for video editing, man, you'll love working with those A7S III files. The IBIS also works great, even though I don't use it for everything, but for vlogging and things like that, YouTube videos, yeah, it's amazing. Also the autofocus, it's excellent, super smooth, it looks really organic. But what I like the most is image quality. Well no, not even image quality, it's actually the colors and how easy it is when I'm color grading to get the result that I want. Because let's be honest, it's all very subjective, you know? People are always talking about Canon colors and how they look so nice, but I don't know, I think I prefer the colors of the Sony A7S III. Now, do keep in mind, this is my first Sony camera, and I know that cameras before this camera had some, I don't know, color problems, but Sony A7S III, it looks amazing. I love color grading now. It's so easy to tweak the colors and experiment, and you know, if you don't want to do any color grading at all, there are excellent LUTs available from Sony, also other creators. You just slap them on and it looks amazing. And talking about LUTs, I told you in the beginning of the video that I had a late Christmas present for you. Yes, I do. So the thing is, I made a few videos in the forest in the last couple of weeks or months, and a lot of you asked me how I color graded those videos. Well, these days I always use one of my LUTs, and then usually I tweak the LUT depending on what the footage looks like, you know? So what I did now is I turned that color grade of one of those videos into a LUT. Very simple. I don't know what it will look like when you apply it to your footage, but hey, it's free, so just try it out. I shoot in S-Log3, so that's your best bet if you want to get a similar result. And it will only be available for 24 hours on my website. Make sure that you don't miss it. Maybe you already have. Sorry for that, but there will be more opportunities then. Yeah, guys, I mean, what can I say about the Sony A7S III? I think, look, I made a video 7-8 months ago, I don't remember, and the title was something like Sony A7S III Dislikes Only Review or something like that. But the thing is, I can't even remember what those dislikes were. Now that I've been using it for so long, all the good stuff makes those few little bad things disappear. It's such a great camera, and I think if you're planning to buy one, you won't be disappointed. If you're a content creator, a video creator, a hybrid shooter, it's a beast of a camera. It really is. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you in the next one.